Hello everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to today's workshop on emotional pain. I am your co-host for my name is Ahil Bose and I'm your co-host for today's workshop. And this workshop will be mainly hosted by Pranali. So before we start, I would like to introduce myself a little bit. My name is Ahil Bose and I've done my masters and BSc in applied psychology, and I'm a junior psychologist here at MindTribe, and I specialize in areas like anxiety, depression, OCD, and various other psychological concerns and problems that people face. So I really hope that you learn a lot from this workshop and you have a great learning experience from this workshop. And before we start with the content of the workshop, I would just like to go over a few ground rules and disclaimers. So here are a few rules. If we go by these rules, it would be really great. The flow of the workshop will be maintained and everyone will have a good experience. So do not unmute yourself mid presentation unless you are asked. Please be careful to keep your audio and video off for smooth presentation and put all your queries in the chat box. It will be looked at actively. And if you are facing any kind of technical issues, inform us in the chat box and pin the presentation to your screen so that it is visible at all times. And all questions and feedback will be addressed at the end of the workshop. And here's a little bit of a legal notice. So, MindTribe has the intellectual property rights of this presentation. This presentation is copyrighted by MindTribe, and video recording this presentation is not permitted. So, taking photographs or screenshots of this presentation is also not permitted. So, these are the few basic ground rules that we went over, and now we'll start with today's workshop. I'll hand it over to our host, Pranali.
Thank you, Anil, for that. Also, one of the ground rule I would like to add over here. Please do not put any unnecessary reactions or unnecessary messages in the chat box. Thank you. So, yes, beginning with my introduction, my name is Pranali. I'm a counseling psychologist at MindTribe, and I work with individuals to help them navigate challenges related to emotions, relationships, stress, and personal growth. My approach is pretty supportive and collaborative. I believe each person has unique strength, and together we can build on those to create meaningful change. So, yes, also my specialties are anxiety, depression, relationship, self esteem, confidence related, family issues, these kind of, and many more. So, these are the things I go on with. All right, so today's workshop is about emotional pain. So we'll be reading about it, learning about it, and see how it goes ahead. Okay, so basically, we'll be learning about emotions 301. So there are three types. Okay, emotions 101. So it majorly focuses on understanding emotions. Okay, it's a wonderful series of emotions. And that second is emotions 201. It covers advanced emotional intelligence. And lastly, it's emotions 301. Today's workshop is about it, my emotional pain, right? So we'll be going a bit deeper into what pain really means emotionally and how to deal with it. So this is the plan for today's workshop. A small roadmap of what is emotional pain, how to assess and identify it, emotional outbursts and emotional numbing, signs and causes of emotional pain, and also ending it with some self-compassion exercise, emotional self-care, and many takeaways at the end. Okay. So yes, before we move ahead, I want you all to tell me how are you feeling right now? What are you feeling right now? In just one word, maybe you can type it in the chat box or raise your hand so that we'll be asking to unmute yourself and speak aloud. Okay, so Sri Lakshmi is saying better than yesterday. That's great. That's a progress. Reshma is feeling calm. calm and peaceful. Great, fine. Okay, all right. So this was about how are we feeling, and it's a baggage of emotions that we always carry with us, right? So before we, start with the workshop, let's take a minute to mentally drop any emotional baggage that we have been carrying today. Okay. So just imagine that, you are standing at the door of this workshop holding a very heavy bag. Okay. In that bag are your worries, your stress, your work related stress, your personal challenges, and many more things around you that might disturb you. Now, take a deep breath, and as you exhale, imagine placing that bag outside the door. It's safe there, don't worry. You can pick it up later if you want, but for now, let's travel light together, okay, during this workshop. Feel yourself light. Okay, so this small act helps our mind become present and open, ready to reflect and heal. Okay, moving to the main question of today. What is pain? What is pain for you all? Can you tell me what is pain for you? It can be anything, right? Yes, Sri Lakshmi is saying, I don't want it ever again. The traumatic pain. Okay, rejection. All right. Pain is what we don't want is going on. Right. Silently carrying it every day in life. I do understand it's heavy and it's hard to carry it every day. Then Aru is saying rejection. Not able to express yourself, regulate your emotions. Right. Very difficult. A heavy feeling in heart. That's introvert type. Okay. Hurt. Feeling sometimes very low. All right. So explaining what is pain, let's look at it. So when we hear the word pain, we often think of a physical pain many times, a wound, an injury, or a headache. But emotional pain is just as real, right? It may not leave visible scars, but it deeply affects how we feel and behave. Okay, so maybe we can say physical pains can be including a sharp stabbing, paper cut, aching, paining, sore muscle, burning pain, sunburn, shooting, tingling pain from nerve damage. It can be anything, right? But emotional pain can be negative changes in our life that impacts our life in a huge manner. Feeling low, feeling irritable, uh, just not able to do our daily activities, right? Okay, so let's look in a little deep. What is emotional pain? Okay, so it is a wide range of subjective experiences. It shows it's how we perceive negative changes in ourselves or our lives. When this pain intensifies, it can feel like emotional torment, that unbearable ache inside that words can't always express. It can be caused by rejection, loss, failure, or even self blame. And just like physical pain, it needs care, healing, and not dismissal, right? When it intensifies, it is experienced as emotional trauma, right? And it is also called as psychological pain. The emotional pain, also called as psychological pain. It affects how we behave, how we relate to others, and how we see ourselves. Think of it as the pain of the heart or mind, invisible but very powerful, right? Let's take an example again over here. Emotional pain includes feelings of fear, grief, shame, guilt, loneliness, worthlessness, and intense distress, which can also manifest physically as, which can come into our body physically, the pain, emotional pain. It can be felt as headaches, stomach ache, or even chest pain or shoulder pain. So common signs of emotional pain includes changes in behavior like irritability, withdrawal, or expressions of hopelessness, as well as poor self-care and shifts in personality. So these can be the things, right? So yeah, to again explain what is emotional pain, let's have a short look at one of the YouTube video. Let's see what it has to say.
The water is you, and the ink is the painful emotion that hits you. Instantly, it takes over and infiltrates everything in your day so that you can't see anything clearly. You just want it to go away. But what if I told you that the best way to make it go away is, in fact, to allow it to be there? Welcome it even. You see, when you pay attention to that feeling and you see it for what it is, you see that the ink is not the water and the emotion is not you. It's an experience, a sensation moving through you. And when you allow emotion to move through you in that way, without trying to block it out, then you allow it to take its natural course. And over time, the emotion clears and you're ready for whatever comes next. I'm a psychologist. Follow for more.
Okay, so this was about uh, how she linked water and ink all together to explain emotional pain, right? So, yes, let's look at a small case study over here and understand the, emotions, the signs of emotions, everything. Okay. So, yes, first case study is about Nakul. Nakul is second year BBA student. He is homosexual. He is homosexual and had recently come out at college. He has a crush on Ritesh, who is also homosexual. Ritesh rejected Nakul very quickly and harshly. Nakul was upset and rushed to his class to talk to his friend to feel better before the exam. He found out that his friend had hurt his ankle playing football and the teacher had excused him from the examination. Nakul sat for the exam fighting with his tears, but naturally he could not concentrate at all. So when he went to the teacher to explain why he could not do well, she said that he is making excuses and is acting weak. Okay, so this was how it was felt. So uh, we can say that he already faced harsh rejection from someone he liked. And when he tried to seek support, even his teacher dismissed him as weak. So imagine how isolating and invalidating that must have been. That's emotional pain. So when your inner world hurts because your experience aren't seen or understood. Okay. So think for a moment. Have you ever felt dismissed or misunderstood when you were hurting? You can give a thumbs up or thumbs down. Have you ever felt dismissed or misunderstood when you were hurting? Right. You can take a note of it mentally, or if you're comfortable, you can just type it in the chat box, a single word that described how that felt to you when you were felt dismissed or misunderstood. Okay. There's anguish feeling. When I was rejected first time by my first crush, I felt it, and my peers also criticized for me taking it seriously. Right. I do understand. It might be hard for you, heartbreaking and simultaneously enraging. But imagine it was my first time in college, never in school I had crush. Absolutely. I do understand. Okay, so Sri Ram, Vipin Kumar had never had this situation in their life. Okay, great. Let's move on. So yes, let's assess. There will be few questions ahead. Okay, and in that, if you relate to that question, you have to mark yes. If you don't, you have to type no. It's you have to take notes of yourself. Do not type it in the chat box. Okay, so yes, for yes, you'll be marking one, and for no, you'll be marking zero. Okay. Also, I'll read it down those few statements. Just notice how many resonate with you. There's no right or wrong answer for this. This is just for your self-awareness. Okay. All right. So first statement is you have an excessively helpful nature. You always put others first so much so that you are used to having your personal needs ignored. If you resonate to this, you can mark it as yes, and if you resonate as no, if you don't resonate, you can mark as no. Please write it down for yourself. Do not type it in the chat box. Okay, I hope everybody is marking. Let's move on to second statement. Second statement is you micromanage a tendency to control every part of the situation. Do you feel like, I have to manage everything? I have control of everything, every situation. Do you micromanage things? Yes or no? Third statement. Third statement is you isolate yourself. Write for yourself. If you resonate, write yes. If you don't, write no. Fourth statement, you are a perfectionist and receive self-worth by being perfect at what you do. Do you feel that you are perfect and receive self-worth by being perfect at what you do? Fifth statement, you ruminate about your problem. You replay the situation over and over again in your mind. Ruminate is maybe a kind of overthinking, or you imagine things constantly. You ruminate about your problems. You replay the situation over and over again in your mind. Okay, moving on to the next statement. I hope everybody is with me. Sixth statement is you have a tendency to form toxic relationship, or you are in a toxic relationship right now. If you resonate, write yes. If you don't, write no. Seventh statement, you constantly rush or worry about proving yourself to others to ensure that you are not failing. You constantly rush or worry about proving yourself to others to ensure that you are not failing. Eighth, eighth statement. You experience stress or pain in the body that you cannot explain. You experience stress or pain in the body that you cannot explain. Ninth statement. You're mostly attracted to sad music and sad movies. Tenth statement. You have angry outbursts or frequent mood swings. You have angry outbursts or frequent mood swings. So these were the 10 statements. I hope everybody has jotted down their answers, if it's yes, if it's no, whatever you feel. Alright, so just count how much, what is your score in total. If for yes, mark 1 as a number. For no, mark 0 as a number for each statement. Okay, whatever your answer is, yes, for yes, it's 1, for no, it's 0. Okay, add all the numbers that you have got and check your scoring. If the addition of all the numbers falls between 1 to 3, the scoring is mild, which says that you may feel uncomfortable at times, but you are mostly able to manage and come out of your pain. Work can be done on increasing pleasant activities and social support. Okay, sorry. Next is scoring between 4 to 6. That means moderate. So you are emotionally sensitive. There are certain situations or experiences that have been very troubling for you. It is a limit. It is time to work on coping strategies. Okay. So work on yourself. If you have scored between 4 to 6. And next is if you scored around 7 to 10, that means it's severe. You feel that your emotional pain and difficult circumstances are unmanageable. You may experience your emotions intensely. It is advised to seek some professional help if needed. Okay. It's difficult for you to handle your pain. You may ask for professional help. All right. I hope everybody is with me. Everybody has marked their scoring for themselves. I can see it in the chat box. Many people have done it. Great. Okay, let's move on. So again, there is another case study over here. Yes. So Sahil is young mathematics professor at IIT Delhi. Um, he has been married for 5 years now. Most people would say that he's pretty laid back guy, but every once in a while he just blows up even on small things. He finds himself angry and often crying for no reason. What do you think is happening with Sahil? You can read it again if you want, and you can just type it in the chat box. What is exactly happening with Sahil? If you want, you can unmute yourself, but raise your hand first. Yes, there are answers. He is suffering from a traumatic pain mostly. Okay. Work-life balance. It's actually not laziness. Uh, it's pain speaking through his anger too. Okay. Unresolved issues from past, maybe. pent up emotion that he suppressed that causes random outbursts. Right. Okay, let's see what it has to say. Okay, so it's emotional outburst. An emotional outburst is a rapid, intense expression of emotions that can last for hours or days sometimes. It leaves us exhausted mentally and physically. Often these outbursts come after a long period of emotional suppression. So when we don't allow ourselves to feel emotions build up until they burst. Okay. Okay. Next is emotional numbing. So again, it's more about numbing down the emotions. Sometimes instead of bursting, people just shut down completely. Right. This is called emotional numbing. So it's when we stop feeling both painful and pleasant emotions. It's our brain's defense, but it also blocks joy and connection. Okay. So yeah, these are the few quotes. Sometimes I'm okay. Other times I feel like I'm invisible like ghost. When I'm feeling that way, I don't want to socialize or engage like my friends and family do. Okay. So maybe you can use these statements to tell other people around you. I feel empty, like I cannot connect to my environment. I am unable to think and feel deeply. Please do not put unnecessary reactions. It's disturbing everyone. All right. Third statement is sometimes I cannot understand what the person in front of me is trying to say. I am zoned out mostly. It is really hard to focus on any task, so I keep watching random videos all day. So these are the signs of numbing. These are the things or sentences or statements that people say or do when they have a habit of emotional numbing. Okay. So before we move ahead, there are some signs by which we can recognize emotional pain in ourselves and others. So I want to explain every one of you by, few examples. So for every sign, there's one example that I have jotted down. So let's look at it one by one. Okay. So first example is Rohan is 25 years old. He works at a big IT firm in Pune. He stays with his parents and a younger sibling. He has a good relationship with everyone in his family and work. However, often he seems upset with everyone. Last week, Rohan suddenly felt a hot flash running through his body. His teeth and fists were clenched, and suddenly he found himself yelling at his mother to leave him alone. After some time, he regretted what he did and spent the entire day feeling miserable. Okay, so what happened exactly? So, usually, emotional pain shows up in different ways for everyone. Okay, one of them was for now of Rohan. So he snaps suddenly and regrets it later. This shows irritability and agitation. Okay. Okay. Vanupriya, if you want to say something, you can raise your hand first and then speak, or you can unmute yourself. Okay. Let's move. Another case study, another emotional sign. Okay. So for it's about Ramita. Ramita is fashion blogger living in Pune. She is 22 years old and has worked hard to get her Instagram followers to good 3 million followers. That's great, right? She describes herself as an extrovert and enjoys socializing with friends and colleagues. After her breakup, she has become very low in energy. She has been avoiding all calls and does not enjoy the company of other people any longer. Her friends and colleagues say that she isn't her chirpy and energetic self now and has become introverted. Okay, so it's about Ramita. So once who lived her life uh, joyful and social, now withdrawn after breakup. So what does that have to say? So it's a sign of personality change or low energy, we can say. Okay, all right. So yes, it's been more than half an hour, more than half time of a workshop. So a small ad break. So if just like on YouTube, if it's free, there's an ad. So grab some popcorn and enjoy this presentation on benefits of one-on-one counseling with MindTribe. Okay. So what is one-on-one counseling? So one-on-one counseling, it's personalized, it's confidential between client and a trained therapist. Second, it's about personal growth. So gain insights into your thoughts, behaviors, and emotions. Thirdly, it's about problem solving. So address specific issues such as anxiety, stress, or relationship problems. Fourth is goal setting. Work towards personal and professional goals with the support of a counselor. Okay. Next is counseling misconceptions. So many people have the misconceptions about counseling, like counseling is only for those who are sick. But it's not true, right? The reality is counseling is for anyone who wants to be their best version. Better relationship, more friends, academic success, career advancement, it can be anything. Okay. So why choose MindTribe for counseling? First, we have highly talented counselor. Our team consists of experienced and skilled therapists. Second, first session is affordable cost. Experience a first session with just rupees 449, very affordable fee. Okay. And also, for the charges are also affordable, like counseling session ranges from rupees 800 to 5,000. So depending on the seniority of the counselor. So there are various ranges you can choose for counseling session. Okay. Next, if you have any questions, feel free to ask about counseling services before we move to our regular presentation. Also, I'll be sharing in the group so you can reach out to me anytime. Yes, Devdarshini, you have any question? Yes, Devdarshini, you have raised your hand if you want to say something. Please unmute. Okay, so you can visit our website of MindTribe. You can have your job and career options, or you can take a counseling session for it if you want in-depth answer for it. I've put the website link in the chat box. If anybody wants, they can use for booking a session or having any doubt, they can ask them. Okay. Okay, let's move to the presentation, to the workshop. Okay, another emotional sign, another case study. So it's about Saloni. She's 19 years old, pursuing her bachelor's degree. She's eldest in the family as a child and has two younger siblings. So from very young age, she found herself taking care of their younger siblings as both her parents were working. On some days, she just sits by herself doing nothing. She is not able to focus on her studies and has stopped socializing. So, what could be the sign in this case? Once was very responsible, now is unable to focus on things. So, it's a sign of withdrawal. Okay. So, withdrawal from people or situation. That's the sign. That's the sign of emotional pain that Saloni is suffering from. Okay. Another case study. Arjun is 27-year-old software engineer. He has always been very hardworking and meticulous. He was good in academics and extracurriculars and landed in good placement after college. He recently lost his job during the first lockdown and has unable to find work. Okay. So sitting at home, he has neglected personal hygiene. Everyone who knows him is concerned about what happened that has made him like that. Okay. So once who was very good in everything is now unable to do anything, just lost interest in everything. Okay. So what does this show? So loss of motivation and hygiene after losing his job. So what it says is poor self-care. Okay. The person is not taking good care of themselves. It's a sign of poor self-care. Okay. All right. Moving on to the next emotional sign that we'll be seeing through Natasha. Natasha is 22 years old, medical student. She's in a relationship with her partner for 1.5 years now. Things were going pretty smooth in her relationship initially. So when she had earlier met her parents, since past 8 months, her boyfriend has become very possessive of her. Okay. So lately, Natasha has been feeling very low. She has lost all her confidence and blames herself for everything that is going wrong in her life. She is disinterested in her studies and says there is nothing to look forward to. She is not able to stop feeling guilty and do things to make herself feel better, no matter how hard her friends try. Okay. So, yes, Natasha feels hopeless and guilty in controlling relationship, right? So there is the emotional pain rooted in her. So we can say there's the self-blame, there's hopelessness. So yeah, low self-worth also we can say, right? So this hopeless and guilty in controlling relationship causes lots of emotional pain in ourselves. Alright. So yes, um, each of these cases reminds us that emotional pain doesn't always look like crying. It can look like anger, tiredness, isolation, disinterest, hopelessness, anything, right? So, yes, moving on to the next. What causes this emotional pain? What happens exactly that we suffer from emotional pain? So, first is distressing situations at work. Okay. So, work stress can be a major source of emotional pain. Constant pressure, long hours, competition, or feeling unappreciated can leave you emotionally drained. It's not just about workload, it's about not feeling valued or safe in your work environment. So, when this continues, it can lead to burnout, self doubt, and even emotional numbness. For example, Imagine putting in your best effort and still being told it's not good enough. So that's not a good feeling, right? That repeated invalidation creates inner hurt and insecurity. Right. Second is unpleasant environment at home. So basically, our home should ideally be a place of safety, but sometimes it isn't, right? For a few of us. A tense, critically, or emotionally neglectful home can make you constantly alert, defensive, or withdrawn. Even subtle things, right? Like lack of appreciation or warmth can make a person feel unseen or unresolved, right? For example, if every time I speak to you, if you speak up, you're told to stop overreacting. Okay. So your mind learns to suppress emotions that becomes emotional pain stored within us. Okay. Next. So third one is problems in relationship. So relationship is where most of our emotional bonds come from, whether romantic, familial, or friendship. Right? So when there's betrayal, rejection, lack of communication, or imbalance, we experience deep inner pain. Because we are wired to connect, any disruption in a connection feels like emotional injury. Okay. For example, think of a situation where someone you trusted pulled away without explanation. That confusion and hurt are a form of emotional pain. Okay. Next is abuse at any phase in life. So, abuse can be physical, emotional, or verbal. Long lasting marks, right? So, even if you assume abuse happened years ago, its um, its effects can continue as self doubt, fear, or difficulty trusting others. Right? Sometimes people minimize their trauma by saying it wasn't that bad. But emotional abuse, criticism, manipulation, gaslighting can't be as damaging as physical damage or physical harm. Okay. For example, if you notice pattern of always trying to please others, apologizing too much, or fearful disapproval, there may be sign of old emotion wound still unhealed. Okay. Last, fifth one is mood disorder. So finally, sometimes emotional pain comes comes from internal factors. Okay, like depression, anxiety, or other mood disorders. In such case, the pain does not always have an internal trigger or external trigger. It's always about constant heaviness or emptiness. All right. So let's take an example again over here. So you might notice everything in life is going fine, yet you still feel low or disconnected. So that's when professional help can make a big difference. So therapy or medical support helps you rebalance that system. Okay. So emotional pain can come from outside, like work or relationship, or from inside, like a mental health or thought patterns. So the important thing to remember is pain does not mean weakness. Okay. Pain means your system is always asking for care, intense, and change. Okay. Let's move ahead. So yes, someone anonymous has said that healing does not mean the damage never existed. It means the damage no longer controls your life. Okay. So, yeah, we can say this quote has beautifully captured the inner essence of emotional healing. You're not erasing your past, you're learning to live freely despite it, right? Okay, let's look at self compassion. So, yes, self compassion begins with open to and being in touch with our suffering rather than avoiding it. Okay. Or also rushing to do smooth about it. If you find your closest friend going through something within very trivial, in a very terrible, would you be harsh with them or try to comfort them? What do you think? Will you be harsh with them or comfort them? Okay, let's take an action plan over here. Okay, so let's do it together. This action. Okay, sit comfortably and notice the tension in your body. For example, after a stressful meeting, you might realize the shoulders are tight. Instead of ignoring it, take a small break of 30 seconds to stretch and release your jaw. That's the body's way of saying, I need more care. Okay. Second is reflect, be curious about what you're feeling. For example, instead of saying, oh, I'm so moody, ask that what's underneath this mood. Okay. Maybe you are anxious about tomorrow's deadline or hurt by someone's comment. Curiosity opens the door to healing. Okay. Then acknowledge your time of distress. Say to yourself, this is tough moment. It's okay to feel hurt. That hurt alone lowers self-criticism. And next is become aware of the dialogue within you. So notice if your inner voice, you should not feel this way, you should not feel this way. Replace it with anyone in my place would feel beautiful with this. Okay. And lastly, be a friend. The friend felt an exam you have comforted them, right? Can you offer that same warmth to yourself tonight? Can you do that? Yes, I'm so sorry. Okay. So whenever you feel emotional pain, notice, name, and nurture it. Be curious about what you're feeling, acknowledge it, and be your friend instead of your critic. Okay. Yes. Next is emotional care. So things you can do to help you connect, process, and reflect on a full range of emotions. So take care of yourself, connect with yourself, process what you're doing, reflect on it, reflect on your emotions. Okay. So, if I ask you right now, what would you do differently in your daily life if you knew? If you knew no one would judge you for it, what would you do right away? What would you do something different if you knew no one is judging you? I don't fear judgment at all now and do what's that's best for me without hurting others. That's great. That's good. Okay. So, how to do it? Let's look at it. Okay. So, do something that you love each day. Spend 10 minutes sketching, gardening, or dancing. You don't need a reason. Joy itself is restorative. Okay. Second is accepting compliments in more readily. Okay. So when someone says you handled that well, resist the urge to deflect it. How it was nothing. Okay. Instead, say thank you. Okay. It strengthens your self worth. And last is stop apologizing for everything. If you're late to reply to a message, try thank you for waiting instead of saying sorry, I am terrible. Okay. Replace apology with appreciation. All right. So, yeah, healthy emotional boundaries. Emotional boundaries means separating your feelings from another feeling. So, have you made space to progress your emotions first so that when you share, you're not just dumping your emotional problems onto someone else? So, um, you are responsible for your own emotions, not for fixing everyone. Okay, so what can be done here? How to do it? First, put your own needs first. For example, you have had a long day, a friend calls you to vent, and you are exhausted. You can say, is I really want to listen to you, but I'm not in the right headspace right now. Can we talk tomorrow? So that's not selfish and it's healthy also. Right? Next is prioritize yourself. Block 30 minutes in your calendar titled Me Time. Okay, just like any other meeting, treat it as non-negotiable. Next is forgive yourself. If you lost your temper at home, acknowledge it. I didn't handle that well, but I am learning. Forgiveness transforms guilt into growth. Okay, so yeah, you can do that. Next is practice makes perfect. So every boundaries feel awkward at first, right? The first few no might bring guilt. So keep practicing. Clarity replaces guilt over time. Okay. Make sure uh, practice makes everything perfect. All right. The few takeaways. Uh, the best possible self. Uh, take care of yourself. See how it goes. Okay. So few of the domains that we have here is um, We'll be seeing each of it. So let's end this with a powerful reflection. Your best possible self. Imagine the best version of you, personally, professionally, and socially. So think that what does that person do differently? How do they take care of their emotions? Think on it. Okay. So example for each domain can be for, so let's look at the personal domain first. Okay. It includes skills, hobbies, personality, health, accomplishment, etc. Okay. So maybe you see yourself waking up with the energy, exercising, eating mindfully, reading, or journaling. You're calm instead of reactive. You talk to yourself with kindness. All right. Next is professional domain. Imagine your best in that domain. It could include job, sense of purpose, education, skills, retirement, income, etc. And last, imagine your best in the social domain. So could you include romantic relationship, friends, and everything? Okay, along with social activities, etc. So you can meet them, meet people around you, have some time for yourself and the people around you. Okay. Here, you are surrounded by people who respect your boundaries. You communicate openly, laugh freely, and feel safe in your connection. Okay. So, yes, these are the few takeaways that you can take and practice. Okay. So, let's do a small visualization before we end the workshop. Okay. So, close your eyes for a moment. See that version of you smiling, balanced, resilient. Okay. What's one small step that version of you would take this week? Okay. So, what's one small step that version of you would take this week? Maybe call a friend, set a bedtime, or go for a walk. Write that down. It's your personal action step. Okay. So, yeah, um, ending it on a positive note. Healing isn't about becoming a different person. It's about returning to who you were before the world told you to hide your feelings. Okay. Your best possible self is already within you. Today, you just reconnected with it. Alright. So yeah. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. It was great being with you and sharing everything. So you can drop off if you want. If you have any question, you can just ask right away. If you don't have any question, you can uh, drop off from the meeting. Thank you all for joining. You'll be getting a message on the group regarding the certificate. All right. If you don't have any question, you can please drop off from the meeting. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the feedback, Devdarshini. Very appreciated. We'll also be sending a feedback form. Do fill that.